Alright, so we've loaded some detail components, 2D components from the Revit library, metric library, and now we're going to place them. So just one more time, we're going to place this hollow steel tube and this angle. The hollow steel tube is, and I'll sort of go through how to update them to the sizes. So first we'll place the hollow steel tube. So we're going to go to the Annotate tab, which has all of the 2D information really. And there's a component under the Detail panel. And in the pull down you have multiple options, a detail component, a repeating detail, which repeats a single component at an interval. And we just want the detail component. And we have loaded the hollow structural steel section along with the two M angle sections. So let's pick the hollow steel section. And if you do that, it'll bring out this hollow steel section. And you can come in and place it about where it's supposed to go. And then hit escape a couple of times to stop that placement. Now, it helps to use thin lines when you're doing this, so type TL if you have your thick lines on. And we can always sort of go back and look at our detail again if we need to do that, because there it is. So it's just sort of sitting there right on the edge, so we're pretty close. So if I come back here and take this guy, you can just move it around however you want. So I'm just going to move it up to there, and then I don't know, it is a little bit of a distance off of here, so maybe move it, I don't know, 6 millimeters right off of there. So now that's placed. Now we want to resize it because it's actually not the right size. It wants to be, according to the literature, 60 by 120 by 4. So we'll probably have to move it after we do it, but we're going to go to Edit Type here, pick it, and go to Edit Type. And I'm just going to, I could duplicate it and make another one, but I don't really need this one, so I'm just going to rename it to 120 by 60 by 4. Okay, and click OK, and then I'm going to update 120 right by 60 by 4, and click OK, and it's going to resize that, and then I'm just going to move it into place again. So could have resized it first, whoops, could have resized it first and then not had to double move it, and I'll just move that over again, 6. Okay, so that guy's in place. Now the next thing we want to do is go in and clear out sort of the part of this that you wouldn't see through, because this insulation and concrete would not go in here. The steel would be placed and then the concrete would be poured. So if we look at the image of it, right, that's cleared out. So that area is cleared out. So we need to get rid of that. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to put a masking region around this guy. So if I come in, I can go to my Annotate tab again, and we have different regions under the detail line. You have filled region and masking region. So I'm going to go to masking region, and it's going to allow me to draw something and mask out what's behind it. And I'm just going to use the pick line, and I'm going to pick, I guess I could pick this line, right? And then maybe this line, and this line, and that line, and just trim out that rectangle, and we'll take a look and see how it does trim it out. Okay, so if I trim out that rectangle, and just to note, those are actually thin lines, and we'll take a look at how that works out. So it's going to have thin lines around it, but if I hit check, right, it now clears all of that out behind there, and you can see a little bit of that line there, but I don't think I care about that. So let's go to our thick lines and see how that works. Right, so we do have a little bit of an interference here where this region is overlapping a thicker line. You see it right there. So you have a couple of options. We could make this a thick line, or you can pull the region in to where it adjusts to that. So it's kind of 6 1/2 dozen the other, because then when I go to thin line, it looks like that region is pulled off and you can see it. So there's the thick lines. If I went back and pulled this guy in, I could edit that boundary and then pick that one line, and instead of thin line I could go to wide line and hit check, and then it would be a wide line at the edge of that. So there's multiple ways to sort of deal with that. But that's placing the hollow steel section and putting a filled masking region in, and then next we'll come back and place those other details.